Hey guys, welcome back to Envision Academy. In this video, I'll be sharing a story of Madhu Gurang, the Naga Dragon's Lair. Once upon a time, in the hills of Paulang in Myanmar, there was an old blind woman. She had a son called Mong Thukata. They were very poor and made a living by growing tea. The son was a kind hearted young man who believed in helping everyone. One day, the queen of Paulang was carried away by a huge Naga dragon. The whole kingdom was plunged in grief. The king issued a decree that any man who rescued his queen and brought her back would be made the crown prince of the land. Mongthukata heard the decree and told his mother that he was going to save the queen. His mother nodded her head and went up to their tiny attic and brought him a sword. On the handle of the sword was the curved head of a Naga dragon. Giving it to the Mongthukata, his mother said, "Take this sword. It has been with our family for generations. Its magical powers can kill all snakes and Naga dragons. It will keep you safe." Mongthukata went to the king's palace and asked for a basket big enough for someone to sit in comfortably, and a very long and strong rope. Then, along with some of the ministers and soldiers, he came to the opening in the ground through which the dragon had taken the queen. The hole was very deep. Mongthukata sat in the basket and asked the soldiers to lower him with the help of the rope. He told the ministers that when he found the queen, he would put her in the basket and tuck the rope so that they could pull her up. As he went down, it became darker. By the time he reached the bottom, it was as dark as night. Exploring the place, Mongthukata found the queen. "I am a poor man," he told her. "I have come to take you back to the palace. Please follow me and I will lead you out of the dragon's lair." As there was no light in the tunnel, the queen had to hold on to Mongthukata's chance trousers to follow him. While they were stumbling alone, a piece of cloth from Mongthukata's trousers that the queen was holding onto frayed and tore off. Unknowingly, the queen held on to the small piece of torn cloth tightly in her hand. At last, the two of them reached the basket. The queen sat in it and Mongthukata tugged at the rope. The waiting men recognized the signal and pulled the basket up. They were so overjoyed to see the queen that they forgot to throw back the basket for Mongthukata. They took the queen back to the palace and told the king that they had saved her. The entire kingdom celebrated the return of their queen, but they forgot the man who had gone down the hole and rescued her. Meanwhile, Mongthukata realized that he was trapped. He sat down to wait for the dragon with his sword. When the dragon returned and found that the queen had disappeared, he hissed in anger. He saw Mongthukata and attacked him viciously. But Mongthukata was ready with his sword. After a fierce fight, he managed to kill the dragon. Then he found another hole going further down. Sliding down the hole, Mongthukata found himself in a new land. It was lit up brightly and had trees full of gold and silver fruits. The houses had walls studded with bright red rubies. Mongthukata was at once surrounded by ferocious Naga dragons and taken prisoner. He was brought before the king, who asked Mongthukata the reason for his visit to their country. As he was an honest man, he told the king everything. The king looked at him carefully and realized that he was telling the truth. Instead of killing him, he filled a feast and ordered all the Naga dragons to come in their human form. At the feast, the king said, "Mongthukata, I have decided not to kill you because you were a good man. You look after your old mother and you took up the challenge to save your queen. I will give you a big ruby that is equal to a king's treasure and send you back to your land." Montocata thanked the king and bade him farewell. Meanwhile, at the palace, the queen was very sad. The king asked her what it was that made her so upset. She replied, "These ministers did not save me from the dragon. Although I never saw the face of the man who saved me, I know it was not one of them." The queen told the king about the torn piece of cloth she had, which belonged to her rescuer. The king thought for a while and said, "I will hold a big festival at the palace for 7 days and invite all the young men of the kingdom. Then you can find the man by matching the cloth with his trousers." At the festival, the king instructed his guards to bring all the young men to the palace, especially anyone wearing torn shin pants. 6 days passed, but the queen did not find anyone wearing trousers matching the torn piece of cloth. On the seventh and last day of the festival, Montocata returned from the land of the Naga dragons and came to the palace. The guards saw that his pants were torn. They immediately took him to the queen, who sat in court with the king. The queen brought the piece of cloth. It matched Montocata's trousers perfectly. The queen was overjoyed. She addressed the entire court and said, "I always wanted the right man to be rewarded. The ministers don't know that while I was swallowing the man who rescued me, a piece from his trousers tore and stayed in my hand. I knew that he was not a rich man but one with a brave heart. Today we have found him." The king too was very happy. He crowned Montocata his heir. The young man sent for his mother and they all lived happily in the palace.